There are dozens of deities in the Forgotten Realms, and if you're anything like me, you've probably prayed to at least 3 of them to get your session prep done on time.
Please help me. You're not gonna kill me!
So today, I'm going to attempt the impossible and introduce you to every major D&D deity in under 10 minutes. That includes their alignment, their domains, their... Wow, that is a lot of deities. Okay, new plan. I'm going to introduce you to every single good deity in the Forgotten Realms and make a separate video for the others because there is zero chance I can cover all of that in 10 minutes and I can't afford a 30-minute video edit. Sorry, Quincy, you do a great job, but I still gotta eat. Anyways, I'm already on the clock, so let's sit down, take notes, or don't, I'm not your dad, and let's speedrun the gods of Faerûn. First up, we have Chauntea. Chauntea is the goddess of agriculture, life, and all things green and growing. She is the barefoot Earthmom who blesses the land, keeps your orchards thriving, and forces her entire family to live off the land even though all they want is a damn Twinkie. But she's not just about growth, she's about balance, sustainability, and the whole give back what you take lifestyle, which guarantees no rogue is going to be worshipping this deity. She doesn't want gold, but rather activism, things like cleaning rivers or planting trees to give back to your community. But don't let her earthy crunchy vibe fool you. If you piss her off, she's gonna remember it. So yeah, you best plant a tree or two, or she might end up planting one in your ribcage. Up next we have Deneir, the god of literature, glyphs, and cartography. Basically the divine equivalent of a sleep-deprived, high-as-hell grad student who's one espresso shot away from unlocking the secrets of the universe. Also known as the First Scribe, Deneir has been trying to create something called the metatext, the perfect book that contains every truth, every story, and every cosmic plot twist in existence. The problem is, he's never finished the first draft. He's forgetful and rambly, and entirely fueled by coffee, conspiracy boards, and divine sticky notes that he leaves all over the place. But don't mistake his ramblings for nonsense, because buried in that chaos is usually something important. You just have to be patient enough to sit through the entire lore dump. He's literally the spiritual embodiment of the DM who wrote 200 pages of world lore, created a new calendar, invented 6 new languages, and still hasn't figured out what's in the next dungeon room. So if you've ever spent your days deciding the best font for your homebrew map, or you've told yourself just one more chapter at 3 AM, then you're already on Team Deneir. Up next is Eldath, the goddess of peace. Also known as the Mother of Waters, you can find her in any quiet glade reading a book, listening to Vox Machina chill vibes, and pretending the world currently isn't on fire. She is a pacifist to the core. No weapons, no bloodshed, just stillness, breath, and maybe a gentle breeze that somehow makes you rethink your life choices. She hangs out with Chauntea, Milil, and even Tempest, the literal god of war, because that makes sense, but it doesn't really necessarily matter because it's not that he agrees with her philosophy, but rather he respects her, and that's really all you need to know about her. Now we come to Ilmater, the god of endurance, martyrdom, and suffering. Basically the divine punching bag of all of Faerûn. When the burden is too much or the pain too deep, he is already there, ready to shoulder it all without complaint. He doesn't want praise, he doesn't need followers, he just wants people to hurt less, even if that means taking it all on himself. He's pretty much the D&D deity equivalent of an anime protagonist. He's the Naruto of the Pantheon, bloodied, exhausted, still standing, screaming with his fist in the air, "Databayo!" with tears in his eyes and a moral lesson in his fists. His followers are the ones patching people up mid-battle, forgiving enemies mid-monologue, and carrying emotional trauma like it's their entire identity. They have all mastered the hardest jutsu of all, empathy over revenge.
Women have it fucking hard, and I empathize with them.
Because anybody can throw a punch, but Ilmater is the one who teaches you to stop the cycle of pain. So if you've ever sat in your bedroom trying to imitate hand signs or forgiven someone who really didn't deserve forgiveness, chances are Ilmater is the deity for you. Lathander is the Faerûn god of dawn, renewal, and new beginnings. Also known as the Morning Lord, he's basically the divine version of the friend that wakes up at sunrise, goes for a jog, and won't stop talking about your potential. His whole vibe is radiant optimism and motivational quotes. He's the patron saint of athletes, artists, romantics, and anyone who wakes up thinking today's the day. Worshipping Lathander isn't about being flawless, but rather trying to improve yourself day by day. If you fall or fail, that's fine. Dust off, cue the music, and stand back up, because every failure is just the prelude to your grand story arc. He's not here to help erase your past, but he's here to help you become the best version of yourself that you can possibly be.
locked in for greatness today.
Now we come to Lira, the goddess of joy, festivals, and celebrations. She is the divine embodiment of dancing like nobody's watching, even if everybody clearly is. Also known as the Joybringer, she isn't about ignoring the darkness, she's about just refusing to let it win.
Did somebody mention the door to darkness?
She teaches that joy isn't an escape, but rather defiance. A declaration that life is worth dancing for, even when things hurt or they're difficult. Her followers are performers, poets, musicians, and anyone who understands that celebration is its own kind of magic. Her temples are pretty much the exact opposite of what you would expect from any sort of religious temple. There's no pews, there's no kneeling, just some lanterns, streamers, and some pop and celebration music. Now we come to Milil, the god of poetry, song, and creative expression. Basically the divine theater kid. He doesn't really necessarily care about performance so much as he cares about the meaning behind it. A single line delivered with heart is magic, and a song sung with passion is
So what
worship.
if I'm the monster?
The right words at the right time aren't just lyrics, they're a spell slot with some much needed flair. His temples are filled with music where songs echo long after the last note fades, and he hangs out with other deities like Deneir and Ogma, bringing his heart to their knowledge and his soul to their structure. Because to Milil, the soul of your story matters more than how polished the rhyme is. Not every performance is perfect, but every voice has worth. Because in a world of swords and silence, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is speak your truth loudly. And now, probably the most well-known god, we move on to Mystra, the goddess of magic. She doesn't rule over just spells, she is the weave, the living structure that allows mortals to use magic in the first place. She has arguably the most confusing history in the Pantheon, having been killed, revived, rebranded, and rebooted more times than your Skyrim's re-release. Where her past self was wild and instinctual, the current Mystra is kind of structure and intent, reshaping magic into something more sustainable after the fall of Nethril. Her domain's not about limitless power over magic, but about balance. Her greatest works include empowering mortals like Elminster, sponsoring the rise of Azuth and Savras, other deities we'll talk about in other videos, and choosing champions not for obedience but for their brilliance. She doesn't deal in raw power, she deals in responsibility, and if you want her blessing, you better be ready to carry the weight that comes with it. Because to her, magic isn't just a tool, it's trust, and breaking that trust is how the world falls apart. So if you've ever dropped a fireball with an ally technically in range and called it a calculated risk, you can bet Mystra saw that and is disappointed. Next up, Selûne, the Moon Maiden, the goddess of the moon, stars, tide, and everything in between. Born at the dawn of creation with her twin sister Shar, Selûne chose light and love, whereas Shar chose the void, and you can guarantee that makes for some awkward Thanksgiving dinners. Their fight really hasn't stopped because they've both been locked in this endless cycle of push and pull, just like the tides of the ocean. Her followers are wanderers, sailors, and people who stare to the stars not for answers, but for the will to keep on going. Because Selûne doesn't promise answers or clarity, but she does promise presence. She will be there when you need her. She won't fix the path, but she will light the way, just enough for you to take the next step and trust that you'll find your way in her light. And as much as I'd love to talk about Shar, this is a video about good deities, so we're gonna skip over that to talk about Sune. Sune is the goddess of beauty, love, and passion, but her true essence lies in what those things mean when taken serious. To Sune, beauty is sacred. Wow, Elma fudded that, holy cow. But it's not about the physical beauty, but the kind of found in music, compassion, art, and more. Her teachings insist that love isn't weakness, but power, and that vulnerability is strength. She stands against cruelty, ugliness born of hate, and anything that seeks to diminish the spark of connection between people. Her goal is to fill the world with more love, more art, and more moments that make life worth living. She encourages bold self-expression like it's a holy quest, and in her church, showing up as your truest self is the dress code. Because to worship Selûne isn't to escape reality, it's to make it beautiful enough to be worth the chaos. Now we have Torm, the god of duty, honor, and self-sacrifice, the literal divine embodiment of lawful good, and probably the reason your party paladin won't let you loot the villain's house. Known as the Loyal Fury, Torm represents the shining, unflinching ideals of knighthood. Loyalty without conditions, courage without ego, and a moral compass so straight it probably reports you for jaywalking. He's not about winning at any cost, he's about doing what's right even when it hurts, and even when no one's watching, and especially when it is wildly inconvenient. His followers are expected to uphold justice with compassion and wield power with humility. They don't kick in doors, they knock politely and accept the consequences if they break the hinges. Torm has the unshakable belief that the truth matters, even if you're the only one brave enough to stand for it. And in a world full of shortcuts, Torm is the divine reminder that doing the hard work and the right thing is always worth it. Even if it means being the party buzzkill, because, let's be honest, someone's gotta be the adult. Or don't, I'm not your dad. Tymora is the goddess of luck, boldness, and that one player who rolls with disadvantage and somehow still crits. She's the divine patron of risk-takers, gamblers, adrenaline junkies, and anyone whose battle plan starts with, "Hear me out." She was born from the split of another deity called, I think, Tyke is how you pronounce it, with her twin sister Bashaba. And where Tymora got the charm, the swagger, and the good dice rolls, Bashaba got misfortune, bitterness, and several centuries worth of unresolved sibling issues. But anyways, Tymora isn't necessarily just a goody-goody two-shoes deity because she is technically a chaotic good, which is important in this scenario. Because she doesn't just tolerate chaos, she thrives in it. She wants you to take the leap, chase the impossible, and slap fate across the face with your natural 20. To her, fortune does not belong to the cautious, it belongs to the brave, or at least the entertainingly reckless. She rewards clever moves and guts, and those moments where you act just before the party yells, "Wait, don't!" And while she doesn't guarantee survival, she offers you a coin toss and dares you to call it midair. Because in her eyes, fortune favors the fearless. And sometimes the riskiest rolls are the only ones worth making. And finally, Tyr, the god of justice, law, and doing the right thing, especially when it hurts. He's the kind of deity who embodies self-sacrifice and lost his hand to literally uphold promise. But Tyr isn't just blind justice, he is justice. Well, he's also technically blind, but that's besides the point. To Tyr, law is not a weapon of control, but a framework for mercy and protection, a way to elevate mortals through honor, truth, and compassion. He understands the flaws of mortals, but believes in their capabilities to strive towards righteousness. He doesn't offer warm hugs or inspirational pep talks, but he does offer a purpose. He gives you a moral compass, a set of principles, and then watches to see if you actually live up to them. Because in a messy world, Tyr isn't about perfection, he's about making sure the good fight gets fought, even if no one is watching. And that's it! The good gods of the Forgotten Realms in under 10 minutes! That's definitely 10 minutes, Quincy. I know I said it'll be a short one. I lied. I absolutely lied. I am so sorry. Why don't we speed this intro up quick and make up for it? But we've only scratched the surface. Next up, we're diving into the neutral gods, those mysterious middle ground deities who are too anxious to pick a side. They're not here to save the world, but they're not here to burn it down either. And after that, we get these spicier ones, the evil gods, the big bads, and the nightmare fuel. So if you're ready for more divine drama, existential chaos, and me continuing to lose track of time, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and tell me which god has your vote in the comment section below. But that's all I got for today, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. To wrap it up, I wanted to give a massive thank you to our YouTube members and patrons. Honestly, you guys have no idea how much your support means, so if you see any of these names in the comment section, be sure to give them a thumbs up.